very, very long time. I see some incredulity in the back. All right, let's look at what's next on here. Cards and games. Why is cards and games on here? It's because if you don't have power, and you don't have water, and there's nothing to do, you're not going to school, you get really, really bored. And people that are bored get really cranky. People that are cranky don't get along very well. So it's a great idea to have something for you, or your kids, or your neighbors, or people that are hanging out with you to do. A deck of cards, some Uno, a couple of board games, you're good to go. You can actually throw a deck of cards in your preparedness kit and not have to worry about, you always have some kind of card game to play. Cash again, $100 in small bills. Hand sanitizer. Same thing as the wipes. Just a great item to be able to keep sanitation high. You know, you can get one of these for like $5 at Walmart, and it'll last a long, long time. You can get a lot of hands clean.
It'll eat through the plastic within a year.
It'll eat through the plastic within a year. Okay.
And leak all over your pantry.
Well, not good.
5 bunch of little ones.
5 little ones, yeah. Well, or just throw it away.
Or just keep. I keep small ones all over the house, and I use that to refill them.
Refill?
So I've always got a big one, but yeah, after a year it starts eating the plastic and it will leak everywhere. Yeah.
It is flammable.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, that does sound like a bad way to do it. All right.
It's effective.
Yeah, hard candy is the next thing on the list. Interestingly enough, if you read all the survival literature, that almost every single one will have this exact recommendation. Keep some hard candy on hand. Why? When you're tired and you're hot and things aren't going well, it gives you a little bit of a sugar boost, which we all know sugar's addictive and it makes you feel better, right? Sugar and something with flavor. It's great for kids. It's great for adults, too. It just gives you that little bit of boost if you're kind of running on empty, please.
Something like that and gum also help if you're trying to avoid eating too much or drinking too much. So like if you're rationing anything, that really helps.
My favorite are Jolly Ranchers. Highly recommend them. Just don't store them in the heat. That's exactly right. Thank you very much. A hat. Something that's overlooked often, but I just wanted to bring it up. If you got a hat, it's a shade type hat, it's much better than a ball cap. It's going to keep that sun off of your neck, keep you from getting sunburned. It's going to help keep you a lot cooler if you're outside in bad situations. Let's see. The next one, and this is another reason why here's the portable water filter. These are about $70. This one right here is a Catadine. I recommend the Catadine brand just because they're really high quality. They're used all over the world by backpackers and hikers. They also have one called MSR. It's also a very good brand name. But this little deal right here, you can stick in a mud puddle with a little hose coming out of it. You stick it in the mud puddle, and you start pumping this little pump on top. Just like this. Well, there we go. You just go like this. Woo! And it will suck water into it. It will filter the water and give you clean, pure water that you can put in any container to drink. If the water is real muddy, it's not going to last as long. But if you're talking about filtering pool water, it's going to give you a lot of water. I think it's about 1,000 gallons before you have to get anything else. Please.
There's a 1,000,000-gallon filter by Sawyer that you can put in line. It extends the life of that. That filter is about $40, so it'll save your $80 filter.
Yeah, this is $80. They also have ones that are $70 that are made by the same company. Academy Sports sells these. Yes, thank you. Academy Sports sells these. Just a great thing to throw in your kit.
Cheaper than, is Emergency Essentials maybe cheaper than Academy?
I've looked at pricing. I think it's one of these price fixing companies where everybody has to sell it for the same price. No one's allowed to discount. So everywhere I've seen it, exactly the same price.
And I also got the other Catadine that
the black one.
Yeah,
the micro.
But I bought like the replacement parts, and it doesn't take up much room, and it doesn't cost a whole lot. And I like double or triple the amount of water.
Yeah.
Because no one might I'd need it and it'd be discontinued or something.
Yeah. Thank you. So you buy an extra filter for it, a couple extra seals that will make sure it will still work if it's been sitting. Please.
Also, if you have only really poor water source, you can pre-filter using soft or concrete filters or roll out anything and use that 5-gallon bucket, put it in there, and then pump out.
You can use T-shirts even.
Exactly.
Anything that you've got, you can pre-filter it to get that water cleaned up a little bit.
It's your fault for bringing up water again.
I just said that. That's true. Water's a big topic. It's a big topic for a real reason. If you don't have water for 3 days, you're dead, right? So it's a very important one. All right. Propane tank. I didn't bring one with me. I didn't know if the church would be cool with me bringing explosive materials in, so I didn't bring a propane tank. But you know what they look? They're white. They're about this big, and they weigh about 20 pounds. Have one of those on hand. You're in good shape. The last thing on this stage 2 list is to have a wind-up, a battery-powered or solar radio. This one runs on, you can wind it in the back like this. Oh, it's kind of frozen up. There we go. You can wind it like that. You wind it for 5 minutes. You've got like a half-hour listing time. Also has solar. You want to get one that has the weather radio if possible on it, because it'll give you updates on what's going on around you. If you don't have power, battery-powered radio is going to be a really good idea for you. And I think that is it for this group. So we basically, on the second group, we started right here with baby wipes, batteries, and we went all the way across here. Again, all this stuff except for the grill fit in this backpack right here. I brought it in this backpack today. So another thing, you can just have a secondary level. If you want to have it easy, you just have a second backpack. You can get that second level of protection. And this is the idea of this, again, was to get us through a couple weeks if we need to. And the approximate cost of everything I have up here, not including any cash, is about $300. So again, it's not super cheap to do this.
But you do it little at a time.
You do a little bit at a time. That's right. You take one little bite at a time, figure out what's most important for you, and go from there. All right, so we're just going to hit a few things real quickly here at the end. This is what I call stage 3, long-term comfort. This is for people that are real diehards, to be honest with you. People that want to have comfort for as long as possible at their homes. When the hurricane hit me, I was prepared with a generator that ran on natural gas that piped out of the side of my house. I had an air conditioning unit in my bed, my master bedroom, a window unit that ran on that, and I had about 10 extension cords. So I ran extension cords over through my entire house. I was cool. I was comfortable. I had electricity. My TV worked. My computer worked. My internet worked. I had fans blowing. I had places for my kids to sleep where they were cool at night. And, this is kind of the diehard level, right? What?
Your neighbor's fridge worked.
My neighbor's fridge worked as well because they ran an extension cord over to their house. That's exactly right. So I just want to blow through this list real quickly. A window air conditioning unit will cost you $200 or less at Home Depot. You can put that in a window and plug it into a generator, whether it runs on gas, natural gas, doesn't matter. You want to have, if you're going to run a window unit, you want to have at least about 3,000 watts. I have a 2,000 watt generator that is not, it's just barely not enough to run my window unit. So you need to have at least 3,000 watts. A chainsaw and supplies, if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you feel comfortable with owning a chainsaw, you can have a small chainsaw to cut up wood for yourself, for your neighbors. It's a great way to help other people in the community as well. Extension cords. The one thing I want to point out with extension cords is if you're going to run a generator off of extension cords, it's a really good idea to have one big, fat extension cord that runs off your generator, and then you can branch out off of that. So you want to get a 10 to 12 gauge extension cord, and they're expensive. They start at about $70 and go up from there. Really expensive, but they are a great way to be able to get a lot of power in your house. Please.
Another reason why that is so important is because with a lesser gauge wire and long extension cords, they overheat and they could produce a fire.
They can start on fire. That's exactly right.
And burned up your equipment.
And burn up your equipment because what happens is the longer that cord is, the less electricity actually makes it to the end. So it makes your appliances that are using it, makes them work harder to capture that electricity.
It's a voltage drop.
I just wanted to point out for the people that do want to do a window unit and have a generator outside, just make sure you have proper clearance away from your generator so you don't get the exhaust.
Oh, yeah, don't stick your generator right outside your air conditioning. It's going to suck up all the fumes and blow them in your house.
Also, if you're inclined to do this, what we've done is we actually had an outlet put into our breaker box that I just had like a pigtail going from the 220 of my generator into my electrical box. Yeah. So my entire house is powered no matter what. I mean, put on a light, everything works.
Yeah.
And you can turn off the breakers for areas you don't want, so that you know how power is running to stuff you don't even know what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of optionality with generators. And if you come to our generator class, we'll cover all these for you. All right. Fire extinguisher, self-evident why that's important, especially if you're running power tools or generators. Some food. You should get yourself a 1-month supply of food. There's different ways to do this. You can go the easy route, which is buy an extra can of tuna, an extra box of Cheerios, a few extra packages of ramen and macaroni and cheese, and just rotate through them in your regular portion of whatever you eat. Just buy extra of what you normally eat. Eventually, you just do a little bit at a time. You'll have a month worth of food sitting somewhere. The way I do it, as I went to one of these emergency essentials or one of these online websites, I bought a big thing of beans and a big thing of rice. We're talking about 5-gallon pails that are all sealed up inside with the silver bags. beans and rice. If I have to live for a month, I can live on beans and rice. I promise you I can. Just I have a little bit of water, a little propane stove to boil it with, and I'm good to go. Generators are something we have a whole class on. I'm not going to really get into it except to say that the generator really makes your life a lot more comfortable, especially if you have a window unit. A large first aid kit. This one right here cost me $30 on Amazon.com. It's got everything you could possibly want for a short-term need. A package of coffee filters. I have this on there for exactly what you brought up. If you need to get water out of the pond that's in your neighborhood, the first thing you do is filter them through a coffee filter. There's like a gazillion filters in every pack. They'll last forever. No. But you can filter water through this. It'll take out a lot of the small particulates. It'll make your water filter last a lot longer if you're using one of these portable filters. It'll make it taste a lot better if you're using bleach or if you're just boiling it. It really will get that first set of filtering out on the water. All right. This is my favorite item of the night right here. If you have a 5-gallon bucket and you don't have plumbing for 2 weeks, this is your best friend right here. It snaps on, and you can sit right on it. It is comfortable, which is very important. And you can do your business in a 5-gallon bucket. If you've got, what you want to do is you want to get some small trash bags. Woo! Excuse me. You want to get yourself some small trash bags. Some of these right here, small garbage bags that'll fit inside the 5-gallon bucket. If you have to, you can stick them on here, snap your lid on top, and do your business. Because if your plumbing's not working, business is going to be a real issue after a couple weeks. And this is one way to take care of it. I actually take this deal right here camping with me every year with my father. We go for a week up in the mountains of Arizona, and we use this all week long. It works just great. Keep the lid down, no problem.
A little Clorox helps too.
A little Clorox helps too, that's right. Final thing, you can get it online. If you just search 5-gallon bucket toilet lid, you'll get it. And I believe cheaperthandirt.com is one of the places that have it. Gander Mountain has them.
And options.
And options. They have a little roller you can stick on the side.
No. I mean, they've only got the one that goes on the bucket, but they've got options.
Okay, yeah, please.
Magazine rack.
I have a video about this called prepping the dark side or something like that on YouTube. But anyway, the feedback that I get from people who actually, who use this all the time is you urinate outside and you use that inside. Don't mix the two. And just throw some cat litter in it or some sawdust, and you don't even know it's there.
Yes, the yellow stuff goes outside.
That's LDS prepper.
All right, last thing I want to talk about tonight is this stuff right here. It's called Stable. I don't know if any of you have seen this before. S-T-A-B-I-L. I put this in every single gallon of gasoline that doesn't go in my car. I put it in for all my lawnmower use, for my weed eater use, for my four-wheeler use. Every gallon of gas I get that doesn't go in my car, you put 1 ounce in for 2.5 gallons. You just dump it in. Don't have to shake it or anything like that. And what it does is it keeps your gasoline from deteriorating over time. I don't know if you know, if you leave gasoline in a lawnmower, for example, or a four-wheeler, you let it sit for 6 months, that thing's probably not going to start when you go to start it back up again. It gels inside the carburetor and it just eats everything up. This stuff will prevent that from happening. It's a great idea to keep one of these on hand, one of these small bottles, or you can get them in much bigger bottles on hand, so that when the time comes, if you're storing gasoline, you can give your equipment quality gasoline. It's really pretty cheap, and anyway, it's just a great idea. I wanted to point out to you guys. It's a good thing to have in your preparedness kit, so that if you are going to have gasoline that's sitting there, you think, oh great, I'll use this gas in my generator. You're actually going to put gas in your generator that's going to work. It makes your gas last up to a year, actually.
Rotate your fuel.
Rotate your fuel, though, is the yeah.
Where do you store gasoline here?
Well, the question was, where do you store gasoline here? And I actually called the fire department when I did my first generator presentation and said, where do you store gasoline? And they said, not in your house. So there's the answer. I said, what about the garage? They said, not in your house. That's the answer I got. I said, what about your garage? They said, not in your house. So that's the only answer I could get. So personally, I store my gasoline in my garage in closed containers. If it's not a closed container, it's a really bad idea. That means it has a cap on it, right? And so you'll notice that all the gas cans now, they have a little button you have to push. That's because it has an internal cap that closes that off. It's a personal choice. If you're worried about it, it's a great idea to buy one of those big Rubbermaid, big square Rubbermaid things. They cost about $300. You can stick them in the backyard on the side of your house and put your gas cans in there. That really is a good idea. So that's about all I do. I love doing this stuff, and I'll be happy to help you do yours. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You always save this for last. You know, the only thing I'll add, because just a second left, is that when Joe says this is a personal decision, you have to evaluate what you need. That is exactly correct. A lot of this depends on where you live, right? If you live along the coast, live on Galveston, you're probably an evacuee, right? You're probably going to have to grab stuff, throw it in the car, and head out. If you live a little bit farther in, right, you're probably not an evacuee. You're probably going to ride it out. You're going to ride out. And the question is, how long? And those of you who've been through hurricanes know that Rita, piece of cake, right? Power's off for 1 or 2 days. That's just like camping. That's kind of like a party, right? Neighbors get together. You get a generator out there. You run the cords around everybody's fridge to keep them from losing their food and stuff, and then you're good, right? But let me tell you, Ike, 1 week, no power. The novelty wears off. It's not fun. It's not camping. 2 weeks, it gets really ugly. And when you get into that 3rd week, you realize, that you have different needs. Week 1, you have a lot different needs week 2. When you get to week 3, that's when you get into these other things that we talked about. And until you've really experienced it, sometimes you can't really understand why you need these things, right? Now, we've lived here almost 30 years. It seems like, and we've been through a lot of different kinds of storms and hurricanes, and some of them were bad, some were really bad, and every time we learn something. All right, we're going to have the next class, we're going to have September 25th, is on water storage and filtration. You can tell when we have this thing, water always comes up. People want to know about it. There's a lot more detail about water. There's a lot more products you can use to filter water and store it. There's a lot more information. And then in October 23rd, starts a raised bed gardening. If you've ever tried to garden, grow anything in Texas, or at least this part of Texas, it's a little bit difficult. It can be disheartening, but we'll show you how to do it. And to give you an idea, when Joe says he'll help you, so I started to put in the gardens this last year, and I didn't have a truck to go bring in all this soil. And I said, Joe, will you help me? And he did. And we went over, we hauled a couple loads of dirt in. And
Three yards, actually.
3 yards. 3 yards. And it was a pretty good-sized garden, right? And I tell you, it just turned out great. It's been fabulous. So we're going to cover that. If you pick up this card on the way, you see what all of our other classes are. They're all very helpful. Joe teaches some of them. He doesn't teach all of them. We do one in container gardening that David's going to teach. And there's another one you're going to teach on emergency cooking, and there's some other stuff down. Did you know you're teaching that? Okay. Good. All right. Well, I appreciate all you being here. We're going to close with a word of prayer, and then ask David to say it.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity we had to be here this evening and for Joe's preparation and helping us be prepared for hurricanes. We ask you that thou would bless us, that we'll take this information and act on it so that we can be prepared and be prepared to help our fellow neighbors and friends. We're grateful for this knowledge. We ask thee again to watch and care for thy children in Hurricane Isaac's path, that they will be prepared and that they will have the assistance that they need. We ask that thou would bless us with safe travel on our way home, and that we can arrive next month with our friends and neighbors, that we may learn more and be better prepared. This we pray in this in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Well, there we have it, folks. Plan for the worst, hope for the best, and help the rest. This is the Spring Texas Prepper, and we're signing off for the night. Hope you got a little benefit from this class.